I don't just talk about other people's stuff, I also make my own. Books in particular. To date, I have 4 books you can check out on Amazon. Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and the short story collection Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Hop on down to the description for Amazon links to all 4 books. Enjoy whichever ones you read, and enjoy the video.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Omni viewer, and today's journey through Toho's Tokusatsu films brings us to something that will be familiar for a number of different reasons. Ready the laser cannons, because it's time to fight the war in space.
In the far-flung future of 1988, UFO sightings from all over the world herald a coming alien invasion. Faced with a global onslaught, Earth has only one hope, the intergalactic battleship Goten, the most advanced weapon in humanity's arsenal. With a crew from all over the world, by which I mean it's mostly Japanese with one American ginger, the Goten heads to Venus to destroy the enemy's command ship and save the day.
Whenever the war in space comes up in conversation, you'll probably hear a lot of people calling it Toho's answer to Star Wars. Personally, I don't think that description is the whole truth.
Now yes, this movie was greenlit to capitalize on Star Wars' popularity, and there are several visual similarities, some more obvious than others. Even the title sounds like a Star Wars knockoff.
For my own part, I think War in Space is more accurately described as what would happen if you threw Battle in Outer Space, Atragon, and Latitude Zero into a blender, then sprinkled in some space battleship Yamato for flavor.
This is a classically Japanese story about the island nation saving the world by rolling out the ultimate battleship to fight inhuman invaders. Heck, the aesthetics of the Goten and the Daimacon, that's the name of the enemy spaceship, look like designs taken from Atragon and repurposed for a space opera. That being said, this is obviously Chewbacca after his wife cheated on him.
Man, that's an obscure reference. They can look it up if they don't get it.
The spectacle of the war in space is where this movie's strengths lie, and the detail here is very good. Thanks to a higher budget and new techniques which had become available, the sets and models have a different level of detail than those in previous films.
That's not a knock against the older films, mind you. Special effects methods change over time, and I'm not about to make any unfair comparisons. Besides, it's not like this movie is perfect.
There are a few composite shots that don't work, and at least one shot where you can plainly see the wires holding up the Goten, but these are few and far between. For the most part, this is a fine-looking film, even with the ridiculous sight of a spaceship that looks like a Roman Galleon.
Ultimately, those looking for good visuals will not be disappointed. Now, you may have noticed that I've been speaking a lot about the visuals, but not much about the plot and characters. Even my description at the beginning was very brief. Well, that's because War in Space is lacking in those departments.
Characters aren't given much depth, or distinctive qualities, or anything in the way of personalities, which makes it impossible to really care for them even when we're told we ought to. There's an attempted love triangle which matters so little to the plot that you might forget about it while you're watching, and character deaths have less impact than a cotton ball thrown at a slab of granite. The ending sees one character try pulling a Dr. Serizawa, but the build-up to it is so haphazard that it feels forced and needless. The piece de resistance, however, is when the Goten leaves Earth and Jimmy from NASA learns via telegram that his family was killed by the invaders. This causes him to stare at the blue marble of Earth with a stoic expression as tears fall from his face. I meant to feel sad for him, but all I can think of is that somebody just threw garbage at his feet while he stood by the freeway.
You're really going for outdated references in this one. And nobody's watching anyway, what difference does it make? Anyway, there's one scene in particular that perfectly encapsulates what kind of movie this is.
At one point when we first arrive on Venus, our leading lady June, who was kidnapped earlier, witnesses the villain Commander Hell, Emperor of the Galaxy, yes, that's really his name, use a hexagonal control panel on the bridge. Later, she and our designated hero Miyoshi get thrown in a cell aboard the Daimacon, and June sees another one of these panels embedded in a wall inside the cell. She reasons that if they can find the right combination, they can let themselves out. And it works.
That pattern persists throughout the whole movie. The good guys are on the ropes until they realize an advantage that makes the bad guys look like morons. Actually, that's not even the worst of it. Check out this sequence of events.
At the beginning of the film, the Daimacon destroys the space station Terra. On its way to Venus, the Goten finds debris from the station just floating in space halfway to their destination. How it broke free from Earth's orbit or came to a complete stop in an environment with no friction is not questioned by our intrepid crew. Moroi, this guy here, gets permission to go aboard the wreckage and recover any bodies he finds for a proper burial on Earth. But it turns out that the one body he recovers is actually an alien spy who was planted there to get aboard the ship.
So what does he do once he's on board? Does he sabotage the engines, start killing the crew one by one, steal one of the fighter jets in the docking bay? None of the above.
He just grabs June and demands to be let off the ship with her as a hostage, and our brave heroes acquiesce without putting up much of a fight.
Okay, let's break this down.
First of all, this plan, if you can even call it that, requires the aliens to anticipate the ship sending someone to the wreckage to recover bodies, and specifically do it on their way to Venus rather than on their way back. Even if that goes off without a hitch, the only thing this is meant to accomplish is the kidnapping of a single crew member whose absence in no way hinders the Goten's functionality.
Plus, why would he capture June of all people? Other than the whole damsel in distress thing, kidnapping her accomplishes nothing.
Prior to this, the aliens have been trying to kidnap her father, Dr. Takagawa, who not only commands the Goten, but is hiding some deep dark secret about it.
He's the target. Kidnapping him would give Commander Hell a chance to torture the secret out of him, not to mention disrupt the chain of command aboard the Goten. The spy is perfectly poised to do this, but instead he kidnaps June and then runs without doing anything else to impede the ship's progress. Really?
If anything, capturing June just further motivates the good guys to win, so the side it actually hurts more is the aliens. Why are we pretending these guys are a threat again? As far as I'm concerned, they deserve to lose.
Okay, so it's a stupid movie. It sounds like a fun kind of stupid, though.
Well, I can't deny that, and maybe that's the best way to summarize it. At the end of the day, The War in Space is the kind of movie you watch either because you like the visuals, or you want to poke fun at it with friends and family on a Friday night. There's certainly merit to be found in that, and so it is in that spirit that I recommend it. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off. Okay, almost done with the series. I just wish it could end on a different movie than the one I've got.
Okay. Hey, Jimmy, we've got a big broadcast today, but what are we talking about? Yeah, my undercover work as Media Master has been keeping me really busy lately. But we'll expose Cameron Winter's scheme yet. So, intrepid producer, what's MIFV's topic today? Of course you wish it was the war in space, given that you miraculously survived it and all. I guess our riffing episode when we were shot into space just wasn't enough for you. Tell you what, let's make that our subject for our 3rd anniversary live stream, September 25th, with you as the guest. Omni Viewer just reviewed that movie, and he didn't call you? An atomic roast? On what? Oh, good Godzilla.
Congratulations, you reached the end. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to consider supporting us on Patreon. Of course, the other way to support us is to go to Amazon and check out our books, Operation Red Dragon, The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, The Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Also, check the description for links to DeviantArt and other platforms we operate. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.